there, welcome back to our Harkla YouTube channel. We are so happy to have you here today. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica, and we're the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla. And today we're going to give you 5 visual vestibular integration activities to add into the routine.
So when it comes to visual vestibular activities, really the goal here is we're integrating the visual system with the vestibular system. So our vision, you know you can see. Your vestibular system is located in your inner ear, and it processes where you are in space, movement, head position changes, all of that good stuff. So the reason why it's so important to integrate these together with these specific activities we're going to share with you is because they are so closely connected, and we can really target some underlying skills that impact everyday success by using these visual vestibular integration activities.
And when we're talking about the visual system, we're not talking about how well you can see, visual acuity. We're actually talking about how your brain processes everything you see. So this includes visual perception, visual processing in the sense of like how are things in the environment related to you, not just can you see clearly.
And we're also going to include some ocular motor skills as well, because it's how your eye muscles visually track and keep track of things within the environment, helping you navigate safely within your environment, or your child that you're working with, or your own child as well. So lots of components here that we're integrating together, but really beneficial and really impactful to include into a daily session.
Yep, and some of the things that you might already do or your child might already do in their daily routine that incorporate visual vestibular integration activities would be things like playing on the playground, running, jumping, climbing, rolling, riding their bicycle. Some things that you might do would be like driving a car, and as you're driving the car and you turn your head and look to check the lane next to you and then turn back forward, that's actually activating both your visual and your vestibular systems.
So really it's key for the entire lifespan, and if we're noticing any dizziness with these activities, it's something to be aware of and something to either talk to your primary care practitioner, your occupational therapist if you're a parent working on this with your child, or even if you, the adult, and you're trying these with your child, which you should be, if you're noticing that you're getting motion sick, that motion sick feeling, or if you're getting dizzy, it's definitely important to be aware of those and to get some further investigation done and some further testing done to make sure that you are properly processing these 2 forms of input.
All right, let's jump into our 5 activities that are going to target the visual vestibular systems, work on integrating them together to work a little bit better. The first one is doing a swing activity while either throwing to a target or playing catch. So if you have a swing available, you are going to have your child sit on the swing, sit in the swing, and as they are swinging back and forth, side to side, you can toss them a beanbag or a small ball or a stuffed animal, and they can practice catching it while they're swinging, and then maybe have a bucket or a tower of cups nearby that they can then throw the item to the target while they're also swinging. This really targets their visual vestibular system because when they're swinging, they're activating that vestibular system. And when they're incorporating the catching and the throwing from and to a target, that visual system has to really work, and they're working on some additional timing and postural control skills as well.
Love that one. It's a classic. The next one, we're going to do a log roll. So we're going to lay on the floor, roll both directions, and we're going to add a visual chart or whatever is motivating to your child, whether it's a book or a visual chart. You are going to attach it stationary on the wall, and you're going to have the child do a log roll, whether over cushions, do a bumpy roll, and they're going to read the chart or call off the items on the chart while they're rolling. So we're getting a lot of that rotary vestibular input, and we're going to go in both directions. So we're going to roll towards the chart and read it, then we're going to roll away from the chart and read it, and then we're going to flip over and read the chart while we roll in the other direction, while our head is on the other side, same rolling away from it. So we're working a lot of different planes here with our vestibular system, and we have to keep our vision stabilized on that visual chart. It's really challenging. Make sure that you follow this activity with a proprioceptive based activity like crawling, stand up and push the head down with your hands, jump up and down, push the tongue to the roof of your mouth. This one will likely cause dizziness if there is any vestibular sensitivity. For seekers, most likely they will not get dizzy and they will love this. But just set a certain rep that you're going to do, provide some proprioceptive input, and then repeat if needed.
It's a tricky one. Definitely try it yourself before you have your kids do it.
Yes, definitely.
The next one is jumping on a trampoline while reading letters, numbers, or some sort of visual chart. So this can be done on a large trampoline or one of the mini trampolines. And you, the adult, can hold up the visual chart or hold up some cards while your child is jumping, and they can call out the items while they jump. Or you can put picture cards, letter cards on the wall next to them, and they can read them, find them, maybe throw a ball to a target while they're jumping as well. This is some really great linear vestibular input that also combines with proprioceptive input because they're jumping and getting compression to their joints. So this one might not be as overstimulating as some of the other ones because it has that proprioceptive input combined, but just know that there's still the potential for overstimulation if you do it for too long or if the child is struggling with vestibular processing.
Yep. The next one, we're going to have the child sit on a peanut ball or a therapy ball in front of us, and we're going to hold up items behind the child. So we're going to be positioned behind the child, and they are going to turn their head and reach, ideally crossing midline, grabbing an item, and then throwing it to a target. And then they're going to repeat on the other side, twisting and turning their head, grabbing the item, and then throwing to a target. The key here is to make sure that they are visually tracking and visually finding that object behind them that you are holding. You can change the position of it. You can raise it up so they have to reach up and look up. They can put it down a little bit so they have to look down behind them. But the goal here is to get that head into different positions while also maintaining that upright position on that unstable surface, which is the therapy ball or the peanut ball or the tea stool. So we're incorporating maintaining balance and postural control, which is a huge part of the vestibular system as well, with visually tracking and then tossing the item to a target. So it's really simple, really stationary, but also working a lot on those underlying skills simultaneously.
I wanted to add another activity to the therapy ball just to get some inversion. So having the child lay upside down over the ball on their back and grabbing items off of the floor and then sitting up to throw to the target. So you can do these two activities back to back if you want, but this laying backwards upside down over the therapy ball really gets that inversion, is very alerting and really targets that vestibular system. And again, it's one of those that could be overstimulating, so just make sure you're following it up with proprioception.
Yep. And the last one is one of our most favorite, most alerting, most fun activities. We call it the scooter board lycra pull. I don't know, we could probably come up with a better
I think we
name.
called it the slingshot.
The slingshot, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna grab a lycra tube or a lycra material, a body sock, and we're gonna have two adults ideally holding it on either side. Two kids, you might need some assistance to hold on to it really, really firmly. And then you're gonna lay prone on the scooter board, so on your tummy on the scooter board, and the person who's on the scooter board is gonna hold on to the lycra rope that you've created. So they're going to be going in that horizontal position, and we're going to have a visual chart in front of them as well. So they're going to be pushing and pulling, you know, on that scooter board. They're going to be, what did you call it? Slingshotting themselves back and forth on that scooter board while reading that chart and visually tracking the items on the chart.
Yes. So all of these activities that we gave you target the visual and vestibular systems together simultaneously to work on connecting or integrating those two systems together, because they do need to work together in order for your child or you to get through your day more successfully. And like we mentioned with a couple of them, they might be a little overstimulating, so we always recommend following these activities up with proprioceptive input. We do have another video with 5 proprioceptive activities that you can watch to get some more ideas about like what you could do afterwards. So we'll link that below. But just keep in mind too that less is more when it comes to vestibular input. So if you are doing these activities with your child and you know maybe they've never done it before, or maybe they are sensitive to vestibular input or movement, make sure you just do once or twice, Keep it short and sweet and build up from there.
If you're a parent watching this and you are concerned with your child's development, you're concerned with their sensory processing or modulation abilities, don't hesitate to reach out and find an OT practitioner, get a referral from your pediatrician, get in-person OT services. When in doubt, rule it out.
Yes. If you liked this video, make sure you share it with a friend. If you are a therapist, we would love to hear your thoughts on if you are using these activities with your clients. Make sure you click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you haven't already listened to our podcast, we highly recommend checking it out. It is All Things Sensory by Harkla. It's on all major podcast platforms, and it's also available on video on YouTube now.
Yes, and then we're also on social media. We're at Instagram at Harkla_family, as well as at All Things Sensory Podcasts.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more in order to support your clients and your children. We appreciate it, and we will plan on seeing you next week.
I didn't know what I was going to say after that. I totally blanked for some reason.
And what else was it? We'll see you next week.